Welcome to another episode of EntreFilmmaker. I'm your host, Shmuley Hoffman. So EntreFilmmaker is basically a platform where I share my experiments and findings to become a better filmmaker and a video pro, focusing on entrepreneurship, leadership skills, and business hacks. My goal here is basically to share with you how to become a more productive and more successful and more persuasive filmmaker so that that is my bread. I just baked some awesome bread, German bread. I told you that, my bread baking was, turning on there. And this is the German bread. Look at this. Listen to this. I tried to imitate the sound that you make in commercials. So a few weeks ago, I was reviewing for you the a7R Mark II and compared it against the a7S. I got just my brand new a7S Mark II and I wanted to compare it against the a7R Mark II. So in order to make it for you easier, because it's a mouthful, a7R2, a7S2, so I just call them R2 and S2 going forward. Is that okay with you? I want to go over the differences between the two cameras and I want to find out which one is actually better suited for filmmakers like you and me. I will also address the question if it makes sense to sell the R2 if you bought one already like I did, or if you haven't bought any of them. What should you do? Which one should you choose? Lastly, I will answer the question whether you should get the S2 or its $600 to $800 cheaper predecessor, the a7S. So, before we start, this episode is generously sponsored by startmyfilmcompany.com. So if you want to start your own film and video business, but you don't know how and what the first steps are to go into this business, just go to startmyfilmcompany.com. Over there, you can just sign up and you will be able to start your own business within a few days. So check it out, startmyfilmcompany.com. Anyway, first of all, the S2 is almost identical to the R2 when you look from the outside. Most menu items and features, all the buttons and the ergonomics are the same. Therefore, I refer you to watch the review I did on the R2, since most of my observations are true for the S2 as well. So the major difference between the two cameras is basically not anything on the outside, but on the inside. It is the sensor. The R2 comes basically with a 42 million pixel sensor. The S2 comes with a 12 million pixel sensor. So you might ask, aren't more pixels better? So photographers, for example, need a lot of pixels because the more pixels the camera has, the bigger images they can print and display, right? So let's have a look at it in detail and compare the images next to each other. Okay, so you see here the resolution of the lady looks pretty much the same, but if we look at the grass area and zoom a little bit in, do you see how much more separation you have actually of the grass? And also look here at the numbers. You can better distinguish on the S2 the numbers, but look at the candles in the window. You can much better see the candle in the window. Let's have a look at the trees here. Same situation, you have better separation on the S2. So what we can see even in this unscientific comparison is that 30 million more pixel doesn't translate in finer details, even though you would think more pixel would translate into better details, right? But the S2 is for me the clear winner here, even though the chip has only 12 million pixels available. And let's face it, for a 4K image, we don't need more than 12 million pixels anyway. So the R2 with its 42 million pixel sensor is totally overkill. And here's another big disadvantage of having more pixels than you need. The disadvantage additionally is, having so many pixels on a single chip is that the more pixels you cramp onto the same size sensor, the less light sensitive the camera becomes. Why? It's basically like a big and a small mirror, right? Take a little mirror and take a big mirror. When you reflect light onto that, obviously the big mirror, meaning our pixel, reflects more light than a smaller mirror, meaning a small pixel. That means the fewer pixels I have on a sensor, the bigger each pixel and the more light can be absorbed by each pixel, and therefore you can shoot in much less ideal lighting situations. Okay, so let's have a look in real life. Here is a little scene that I shot for you to compare actually the ISO, the light sensitivity between both cameras. I shot this in 4K mode. So now you should be able to see already how much noise there is in the image of the R2. See that, the details? And then when we reach 25,000, there is no more in 4K mode on R2, but see how the S2 even performs at such high ISOs. The R2 is built with photographers in mind. The S2 is a camera entirely built around the needs of filmmakers. Therefore, with the S2, you can get an incredible light sensitivity. Therefore, the S2 wins here big time for us filmmakers. Let's see what rolling shutter does. And I show it to you here on some practical examples. So as you can see, the S2 is probably the worst of all. I slowed it down here in slow-mo so you can see better the effect. I think the APS-C mode of the R2 is better, but in general it's still bad. And here it's the S2 in HD mode and 4K mode. In HD mode it's a little better, I think, but in general that still prevails the weakness of the S2 as it did for the predecessor. Overheating. The R2 in video mode has one big challenge. If you shoot in 4K mode more than 5 till 10 minutes continuously, the sensor will eventually overheat and then your camera will shut down in the middle of your shoot. Not so the S2. Since the chip is only 12 million pixels, there is no down resing on anything. So the camera performs flawlessly with long clips, interviews and events. The R2 is able to shoot 120 frames per second. The disadvantage is that it downscales the image to 720 HD. The S2, on the other hand, is able to shoot 1080 HD in 120 frames per second due to its different sensor. The downside is that it crops into the image 2.2 times. So, APS-C or 35mm mode. The cool thing that Sony implemented was that even though the A7 series uses a full-frame chip, you could switch it into the cropped APS-C or called 35mm mode with the push of a button. The advantage? Without switching your lens, each lens would give you two angles, a 50mm on full frame, right? And then when you switch it into APS-C mode, it becomes basically a 75mm. Switching between full frame and APS-C mode is faster than switching between lenses, especially when you are like me shooting on a lot of prime lenses. The R2 would do this in 1080 HD as well as in 4K. Not so the S2. Okay, on the S2 I'm switching into 4K, and in 4K the APS-C mode is disabled. However, in HD you can certainly use the APS-C mode because the sensor has enough resolution. That is for sure a bummer for me personally, since I shoot mostly on primes. The question is, would this be a deal breaker? So, verdict! If you are primarily a photographer, then grab the R2. You get almost 4 times more resolution in your stills, and you still have a great video mode on board that lets you easily switch between taking pictures and shooting awesome video. Extra advantage is basically your APS-C mode that can be used in 4K as well as giving you 2 angles per lens as I outlined earlier. The only major drawback is that the low light sensitivity is not on par with the S2 and that you cannot really shoot interviews in 4K for longer than 5 till 10 minutes. But since stills are more important for you anyway, grab the R2. The situation looks a bit different, if not a lot, if you are primarily a video shooter or filmmaker. You couldn't care less about the photo resolution, right? You have your iPhone. The one thing that made me jump ship from the R2 to the S2 is the extreme low light sensitivity that was established already well with the a7S Mark I. And the other important feature is your camera will not shut down when filming interviews if you shoot longer than 5 minutes, right? That's a biggie because we do this all the time. Or another scenario is when you have your camera mounted to a Steadicam or Ronin where you shoot continuously without start stop so much, right? So you don't want this to, shut down in the middle of your shot. The only thing that I'm really missing on the S2 is the APSC mode, where you can basically switch between 2 different angles in a prime lens. Here, my wife, come over here. Here. Let's have a look how we look like. Hi, this is my wife. Over there's the camera. Hi.
I wanna look at myself.
Why do you want to look at yourself? Ladies always need to look at themselves. That's why they have so many mirrors. So, a7S Mark II versus a7S Mark I. Now, which camera should you get? In terms of pure return of investment, the a7S wins over the a7S II hands down. The a7S cost schlappe $2,200. The a7S II cost an extra $800 more, meaning to say almost $3,000. Is it worth it? Well, it depends. If you are a bloody beginner, the a7S seems to be a better deal. If you are well in your business, then get just the damn a7S II because it takes you a few days for the cam to just recuperate your investment. The situation looks also different for you if you opting for vintage or manual lenses like I did. Now the a7S II comes with in-camera stabilization and therefore I was able to buy the entire palette of Zeiss glass. If you want top-notch prime lenses like Zeiss or Leica, then just get the a7S II. Some final notes. Get the a7S II. I think it's one of the best DSLR cameras built today, and it's packed with a boatload of features, specifically if you are a filmmaker. Do you need zebras? Audio levels, focus peaking stabilization and camera, articulated screen, truly weatherproof, in-camera apps that let you shoot amazing automated gorgeous time-lapse films. It's all on board on the a7S Mark II. Grab it and I think you and your clients will be very happy. Show me, do you have something in your teeth? No, 1 second here. What are we telling folks about the Mod Org? What? Oh, your hair. Oh, damn, my hair. I have to uncheck my hair. iPhone mirror. Why should people go to startmyfilmcompany.com? Tell them honestly. Oh, I have no microphone.
Expensive dance classes.
Great. I think this convinces everyone to buy Stop My Film Production Company.
Shmuley started doing
don't make the whole
production.
spiel from start to finish. Just tell them why they should buy it. Benefits.
Give me a second and be quiet.
I'm sorry. Being married 101.
You're distracted.
Ready?
Okay, so in the film world, when you start out, you're making bupkis and you can't support your family. If you want to support your family and you don't have time to wait around holding cables on a movie set till you make enough money, we built
what does a PA make? Like $150 in a day?
We built our business from scratch, not knowing anything about this business, and we made it work. We made it into a 6-figure business, and we want to save you guys the hassle of learning the hard way, and we really learned the hard way. Save yourself the stupid, and buy Shmuley's course, and you'll be on a better track. You'll be making more money.
What would they
sooner.
learn? What will they learn?
You learn how to make a deal, write a proposal.
Oh, come on, write a proposal you can see online. No, it's more than that. It's a proposal that is really built in with lots of psychology, what actually clients are looking for in order to say, wow, I want this guy to close a deal.
From Shmuley's course, you learn everything you need to know that a business owner knows. Most video dudes, they know video, they love gear porn, they're always just looking online for gear stuff.
My from wife.
But what you really need to know is how to run a business, including where to get your clients, how much to charge, how to work the cost of your gear into your price.
Keep going. You're good. You're good. Isn't she great? She's awesome.
How can I do this?
I love you.
That's nice.
No, I really do.
We've been around for 10 years now, and I think that that's really the test of time. And we thought it's time to just give back to people who need it. And
Did we take from people? Did we steal something?
we hate seeing people struggle. We really do.
That's true.
Especially the
true.
way that we did, if we can prevent people from struggling. So buy Shmuley's course and you will learn how to not struggle, or you'll struggle for less time.
Excellent.
That's a great
So startmyfilmcompany.com. Check it out over there, and I see you maybe over there. Or you stick just with us here. Bye.
That was a great ending.
Why not? Good.
Am I done?
Yeah, you're done.
Okay, bye.
Is she great? She's awesome, right? That's why I married her. Okay, guys, that's it for now. It was long, right? But full of information and full of goodies just for you. So, see you later.